Will this be the end to Jamaica's bureaucracy? Are these changes giving hope to repats and expats who are residing on the island? Can these changes be the solution to the longing that Jamaicans on the island and in the diaspora have been yearning for when they are doing business and getting services from the different organizations with which they interact? Let's have the conversation here.
The Jam Fam family. Jam Fam, come hang with me. Yeah.
Hello, Wagwan. Big up yourself. Whether you're there, you're abroad. Welcome back to another episode of Life with the Jam Fams. Today, we're going to be looking at some pivotal changes that are taking place on the island and seeing how those are going to benefit those of us living on the island and those of you who are in the diaspora. Now, bureaucracy is not a thing that is foreign. Bureaucracy has had a long history in Jamaica, and it dates back or originated in colonial times. And the primary functions of these bureaucracy was to impede, obstruct, and eliminate individuals from advancement, many of which continues today in government offices and private organizations on the island. And they serve to exploit, sabotage, hinder, and frustrate the average Jamaicans. The legacy of bribery that continued after we gained independence is even harder to shake off because many people see bribery as their only way out from under the chokehold that these bureaucracy causes. There definitely needs to be proof of identity and document verification. Nonetheless, this needs to be done in a robust and meaningful way. Over verification and authentication is not necessary, and let me explain. When you're taking out your first Jamaican passport, you need to go to RGD to get the most recent version of the birth certificate that they offer, just to make sure that it is genuine and authentic. Once you have that, you need to go to a JP who must have known you for at least 12 months to get them to sign your passport application form. The JP also signs those passport pictures that are going to be used in your passport. Now, when you want to get a Jamaican national ID, the process that goes through to be able to verify and authenticate that you live where you say you live, you're who you say you are, is so detailed and extensive that it is nigh on impossible to counterfeit one of those identification. And then when you need to sort out your TRN, you need that new version of your birth certificate and a JP who knows you for at least 12 months to be able to sign it before you are going to be issued with that TRN. When you have a Jamaica driver's license, you need to go through the process of getting that birth certificate again, getting a JP to sign the photos that are going to be used and on that application that you're going to submit for that driving license. And it links to your TRN that was already verified, although it wasn't a photo ID. Now, any of these three pieces of identification that you have, whether it's the national ID, your passport, or your driving license, you have already gone through so much robust checks and balances to ensure that it's authentic, that if there's a problem along the way, it would have to have been with the birth certificate and the JP who have signed them in the first place. Although there are relevant places and points where you need the JP and other people who act in a similar capacity to sign things off for you, really and truly, any Jamaican that has a national ID or a passport should be able to do these things because of the rigor with which their documentations have already been checked, and the fact that their numbers on them will also be presented on the documents that they sign, so that checks can be done to make sure that they are not signing for people who aren't who they say they are, and for people who they don't know enough to be confident to sign for. Now, in and of itself, there are going to be circumstances where JPs need to sign certain documentation. Nevertheless, people should not be put in a position where for every single thing that they need to do, they need to go through that laborious process. In most countries in the global north, there are two things that are needed and required: an identity check, which checks your name, and then a second check, which checks and authenticates your address. There are sometimes, depending on what processes you're doing, that might require a check for your employment. Now, look at how much less hassle people in those societies have when they are going to do business because of the number of bureaucracy and links in their process that have already been removed. Yet, there are still organizations in Jamaica who will require you to have at least 2 people to give character references of you in order for them to process the things that you are seeking to process.
The first area that I'm tasking Minister Marks with is the reform of government bureaucracy. This responsibility will entail cultivating a government bureaucracy that is agile. Agility and bureaucracy don't always go together, but I'm sure Audrey will find a way. That is growth-oriented and innovation-driven. One that actively enables entrepreneurship, fosters innovation, and accelerates the implementation of major projects as a critical catalyst for our national pivot to growth. There is no doubt that the stringent fiscal policies we implemented to control excessive government spending have been a success. No question about that. They have reduced public debt, restored macroeconomic stability, and strengthened accountability. However, the very layers of controls, checks, and balances that helped us rein in wasteful spending have now created a new challenge. One that slows down essential approvals, delays critical infrastructure projects, and stifles economic growth. Minister Marks will have responsibility, and I want you to listen to this one carefully, streamlining processes for efficiency and economic development. What's that acronym? SPEED. Streamlining processes for efficiency and economic development, not to be confused with Doge. And appoint an advisory team of public sector stakeholders as she undertakes a comprehensive review of Jamaica's governance arrangements, systems, and processes, and implement targeted reforms that will eliminate inefficiencies, reduce bureaucratic delays, and enhance the ease, or rather the speed, of doing business.
Jamaica takes on a new course of change as it seeks to eliminate the high levels of bureaucracy and hopefully reduces the level of bribery that people often hear mentioned about Jamaica as a country. With every tide of change, there will be resistance and there will come challenges. And there are a few challenges that we can see here. The first one will be those people who will resist change. And there will be people who resist change simply because they resist change. They don't want to change, even though the change could be something that's going to be better. There are also those people here who are going to resist change because they don't want to do differently, because they have so long been taught that we do not deserve to be treated with such value and such esteem, that they find it hard to see how to translate from the poor treatment that they were delivering and step up and start to be able to do things more productively and more proficiently. And in that could lie one of the problems. The second is that some people will be unwilling or refuse to relinquish the oppressive power that their offices gave them and that they willingly exert on their fellow Jamaicans.
For the average Jamaican listening, the experience with bureaucracy is probably primarily expressed in the frustration at our tax offices. It's the experience in trying to call a government entity and not getting a response on the telephone. It's the customer service at public offices. It's the tremendous paperwork that you are required to go through. It is the giving of information over and over and over again. It is this small frustrating things which cost you. I was speaking to someone recently who pointed out that they submitted a plan for renovation to their home. They're doing an expansion and they were submitting a plan to one of the parish councils. And just one letter was left off, a description of an item. And it was sent back for it to be reprinted. Now, those of you who understand the cost of reprinting plans. And so this is how we, the average public, experience bureaucracy. And sometimes you can't blame the person who is charged with enforcing the rules of the bureaucracy. They are just doing their job. And they are not paid to exercise discretion or to show initiative or to be entrepreneurial. They are punished for that. So when we say we're establishing, it's not a new ministry, but it will certainly have a new focus within the office of the Prime Minister. This is something that is critical to relieve the pressure points, the pain points on citizens, but to also increase the pace of growth.
If organizations are to be truly streamlined in delivering on these processes and expediency, then staff need to be trained on how to implement policy using initiative, being able to use their discretion, and also being able to be entrepreneurial when out-of-the-box circumstances arise. Government organization is a start and a place to tweak and adjust. For Jamaicans to really reap benefit, this kind of change should also be demanded of non-government organizations, which is a place in which Jamaicans are exploited and oppressed through unnecessary layers of company bureaucracy. The government should impose fines on companies and organizations who make the choice to persist with their high levels of bureaucracy that the Jamaican population is currently experiencing. Non-compliance by companies is simply unacceptable, because the future Jamaica that we are looking forward to seeing rising up cannot and should not be hampered or stalled by these disparaging colonial ideals, because these organizations are using them to their advantage and to the detriment of Jamaicans. Tell us your view in the comments below. What do you think about the plan of how this change is going to be put into effect? And do you see this as a good change for the Jamaican people? How would you compare your school experience here in Jamaica with your school experience in the UK from as a student?
Well, comparing similarities from England and Jamaica, there's nothing to compare except that them both have school. That's it. Them both have school.
Okay.
Literally. And I was a student in both. That is the only two similarities.
Okay. So just the fact that you have school there and school here, but you have teachers there and teachers here.
Then that too.
Okay, so just the basic construct of what school represents is similar. Okay then. And give me a couple differences.
Okay then. A difference between, well, you're not going to like it. Because you don't like negativity. And when you give me that opportunity to talk about it, it's going to be extreme negativity.
Okay, well,
and
let's
I
hear.
cannot think of a way to say it in any other form of way.
Okay. Well, let's hear what it is.
Okay, so when I compare, just to inside details that only the people that are actually there can see the difference between, from at least the school that I attend versus the school I attended in England. The school I currently attend, I believe that majority of the situations that happen there and the people that are involved are just very incompetent and do not care about anyone and are very selfish. In England, although they don't really need to care about you, they at least show some form of care towards you and about you to say, "Me no business about you, but it's my job to business about you. So make me at least pretend to me business about you."
Okay.
In Jamaica, them say, "Me no business about you, so me no business about you." Full stop.
Okay. I see.
Whether me post for business or not, me done business. Literally, that's how them behave.
Okay.
And also, although the curriculum is easier in Jamaica,
But you
to
find
me,
it okay.
because majority of the things that they're just learning in high school, I've already learned, covered, revised, and gone back through multiple times in primary.
Okay.
But then,
So do you not find that you are learning things that you hadn't learned before as
No.
well?
only in like things like social studies and maybe civics.
So what are some of the other comparisons you can make? So you believe that some of the curriculum bits that you've learned in the UK,
Majority of the curriculum is learned in the UK.
that you're learning here. Majority of them you've learned. Okay. And what are some of the other comparisons you want to make?
Boisterous behavior.
What about it?
So I noticed something. I'm going to just specifically use the difference between the classes that I was in, like the form group. Although my form group in England was very, let's say, mischievous, defiant, usually we would actually be behaved in the classes, but I noticed that in the school that I currently attend, the form group I'm in, it's like they pick and choose the teachers that they will behave in or not. I think that in England, the only class that my form didn't behave in was when there was a substitute teacher, but only because the substitute teacher is being rude, then going to misbehave.
Okay.
There are numerous situations in which that happened, but I will not be explaining.
Okay.
So in Jamaica now, for example, some of our teachers are more on the stricter side and knows to them not, and everybody knows that they're not taking the nonsense. So they're more likely to behave with them. But there's other teachers that are easy to like, we push and prod. Let's just use that. They're more likely to misbehave in those classes, or like teachers would just really do not care and dumb business, and their only job is to teach, whether you want to pick it up or not. They don't really business. They came there to teach. You don't want to take the information, and if you them problem of your future, so them act. I'm gonna blame them. So we don't do too.
Okay.
So yeah, that's another one.
Okay, thank you. This is an awesome delivery that I have. Another British repat, who is my friend, came by at my gate and delivered me these things. It is just so awesome because right now I'm getting ready to go and enjoy myself with it. So let me show you what it is. So she has mangoes, and she went off and get some, and she was passing by and she packed some and brought some for me. So see, when you share with other people, when you get your hauls, other people share with you. It's just how it is, because if we don't pick them and share them with other people, they're just going to fall off the tree and stay under there and decompose. So we just go and share with each other, and this is a lovely haul. So I'm so grateful for having it. I'm going to go and wash a couple of them now and just go and enjoy myself. This is my second set of mangoes in this early part of the mango season, and I'm loving it. I've washed a batch out, and I am going to go and sit down and get eating. So let me find one, and guess what, guys, this is just fabulous. Yep, I do eat the skin because the skin is packed with nutrients. Just have a look and you'll see. Do a little research and see. But I think it's just unfair for people, me sitting here and eating mango in front of you when you probably want some yourself. So I'm going to just go sit down and enjoy these mangoes. Like, honestly.
The Jam Fam family. Where Irie living the good life. We're royal, cruising through the West Indies, having fun, enjoying the good life. Jam Fam family, the Jam Fam family, yeah. The Jam Fam family. Where Irie living the good life. We're royal, cruising through the West Indies, having fun, enjoying the good life. Jam Fam family, the Jam Fam family, yeah. Jam Fam, come hang with me.
Thank you for staying with us here on this, another episode of Life with the Jam Fams. We appreciate having you. Bye for now, and we look forward to seeing you in the next one.